I buried her on a Wednesday. The sky was too bright, the sun too hot, the choir sang too sweet. People cried like they had rehearsed it. All I could see was her hand, cold, small, folded neatly across her chest. Too neat, like someone had made her death look polite. Her name was Alicia, my wife, my mystery, my forever. Gone. I went home that evening, stood at the door, and couldn't bring myself to walk in. The house felt full of absence, like she was everywhere and nowhere all at once. Her scent still clung to the pillows. Her toothbrush was still in the cup. Her favorite mug still had a lipstick stain on the rim. And I kept staring at my phone, waiting for her usual text. Don't forget to take out the trash. But it never came, not until 3 days later. That morning, my phone buzzed. Her name lit up on the screen. I thought it was a sick joke. Then I read the message. If you're reading this, I'm gone. But I need you to know some things. Start with the red box under the bed. I stopped breathing. I must have read it a dozen times. Checked the photo, the number, the timestamp. It was her. My hands shook as I dropped to my knees and reached under the bed. There it was, a red box tied with a faded gold ribbon, old, dusty, waiting. Inside I found a stack of letters tied with twine, a flash drive, and a photo of her smiling next to a man I didn't know. My stomach dropped. I plugged in the flash drive, folders, videos, notes, journal entries, and one file simply labeled, Start Here. I clicked. Her voice filled the room, soft, a little breathless. This story doesn't end with my death. It starts there. I didn't sleep that night, just stared at the ceiling with her voice replaying in my mind. The next morning, another text came in. Remember Grace? We shared more than choir robes. Grace, from church. Warm smile. Always helpful. Always quiet around me. I called her. She didn't answer, so I drove to her place. She opened the door, took one look at me, and burst into tears. We sat. She trembled as she spoke. It was one night, she whispered. After choir practice, she was lonely, hurting. She felt invisible. They'd kissed, held each other, cried together. Grace swore it wasn't an affair, but it broke something inside me anyway. I didn't scream. I didn't argue. I just listened and left her house with a weight I couldn't name. That night, Alicia messaged again. The year I said I was at a retreat, I wasn't. I froze. She'd told me she went for a women's leadership retreat, needed time with God. The flash drive said otherwise. She had checked herself into rehab, not for drugs, not for alcohol, for depression, for suicidal thoughts, for a pain she couldn't explain, even to me. I didn't tell you, she wrote in her journal, because I didn't want you to see me as broken. I was scared you'd leave me. Or worse, stay out of pity. Then came another text. Look into account 042. It's for someone you've never met. I pulled up her bank records. There it was, a private account, transfers every month to a boy's name. Alicia had been sending money, but to who? I asked her cousin. Turns out Alicia had been supporting the teenage son of her best friend. His father was abusive. His mother ran away to protect him. And Alicia? She quietly paid the bills, paid the school fees, bought clothes, covered medical expenses. She called him her shadow son. And she never told me, not because she was hiding him, but because she was protecting someone else's story. There was that man in the photo. I found him. His name was Daniel. He lived 2 states away. When I asked about Alicia, he looked down and said, she never stopped loving you, but she didn't stop writing me either. It wasn't romantic. It was safe. They had a history. Letters, conversations, prayers, honest words. He knew her before she became the Alicia everyone applauded. And strangely, that hurt even more, because maybe he saw a version of her that I never asked to see. Weeks passed. I kept digging through the flash drive, the letters, the journals. Then one day, I found an envelope, taped to the back of a drawer. It was labeled, "For when you can't forgive me." Inside was her handwriting, every word raw. I didn't tell you everything, not because I wanted to lie, but because I didn't think I could survive your disappointment. Sometimes I needed you to be a safe place, and you felt too righteous to fall apart in front of. She ended with, I didn't want to leave you like this, but I couldn't carry all this alone anymore. Then came the final audio file. Her voice, faint, slower than before. I was dying before you ever knew. I didn't want you to carry the pain while I was still breathing. She'd known, long before the diagnosis, but she chose to keep smiling, to keep serving, to keep laughing with me, loving me, even while she was quietly dying. Eventually, I met the boy she'd been helping. He had her smile, didn't know who I was at first, but when I said Alicia's name, his face lit up. She called me her shadow son, he said. She wrote me letters. She said I was braver than most grown men. He showed me a Bible she gave him. Inside the cover, if the world doesn't see you, God does, so do I. I couldn't stop asking myself, did I ever really see her? I told her to be strong when she was already breaking. Told her to pray when she just needed to cry. I held her hand in public, but maybe not in her pain. Then, weeks later, another message. Check the mailbox today. I did. There was a padded envelope. No sender name, just my name. In her handwriting. Inside was a spiral-bound manuscript over 200 pages. What I Never Said, A Life Between Lines, Alicia M. She wrote her story. All of it. The abuse, the healing, the silence, the expectations she couldn't meet, the fears, the love, the resentment, the gratitude, her truth. In her voice, no edits, no masks. Then came the final message. The last I'd ever received from her. Don't grieve me forever. Love someone again. And when you do, don't be afraid to ask the hard questions. I stared at it for hours. It wasn't a goodbye. It was permission to forgive, to feel, to live, to love again, fully, honestly. I published her book, didn't touch a single sentence. I let her voice rise unfiltered. The cover, a photo she took herself, soft light on her cheek, eyes not looking at the camera, a half smile, like she knew something we didn't. The title? She texted me after her funeral, because she did. And the world needed to hear what she had to say. People read it. They wept. They reached out. One man said he held his wife's hand for the first time in months after reading it. A woman said she finally told her daughter the truth about her past. And me, I'm still learning to breathe without her. But now, it feels like she left me a map. If you've read this far, maybe this story sounds a little like yours. Maybe you've lost someone. Maybe you are someone who hides pain behind smiles. Or maybe you love someone deeply, but haven't asked them what hurts. Ask, listen, speak, while there's still time. And if you're grieving, let it soften you, not bury you. Your story is still being written, and someone out there is waiting to hear the truth in your voice, just like I waited for hers and found it after her funeral.